My name's Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff, where I'll make a healthy dinner from start to finish and pair it with wines from around the world. Let's fill up that glass.
Hi, I'm Jeff Makarevich, and welcome to Wine and Dine with Jeff. Today, we're going to be blowing our diets. So don't even think about healthy food today. We are doing comfort food. This is Truffle Mac and Cheese. It is so delicious. It's so decadent. I can't wait for you guys to try it. And we're pairing it with this beautiful Russian River Chardonnay. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. I have some olive oil in the pan right now, and let's get some of our mushrooms going right into the pan. These are baby bellas, which I found. You can do creminis. You can do a combination of whatever mushrooms that you'd like to. I just saw these baby bellas looked beautiful, so I wanted to get them in there. And along with that, I wanted to throw in a shallot. And all the exact measurements are right down below in the description center for you. And then some fresh thyme. Right on in. Thyme and mushrooms just seem like they're like a perfect pairing. Just a perfect pairing of that woodsy, earthy scent on both of them. And right now I'm putting in some salt and pepper. And I know you're probably going, Jeff, I never see you salt mushrooms right away when you put them into the pan because I'm usually not wanting to extract the liquid right away. At this point in time, I do not want to brown these mushrooms. I just want to get a nice, them to soften up and get some beautiful tenderness to them. This will take about 5-7 minutes. So we'll let that go and then we'll hit it with a little bit of cognac. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Take a look at our mushrooms. We just let them sweat out a little bit. And now to the mushrooms, I'm just going to add a scotch of this cognac. If you don't have any cognac sitting around the house, you can skip this step. I just love the extra layer of flavor, just a touch of sweetness. So that will cook out. That'll just take 30 seconds to a minute, and that cognac will cook out dry. And in the meantime, let me tell you about this Raeburn Chardonnay in Russian River, which is in Sonoma. It is a beautiful, beautiful Chardonnay. Wow. I'm getting notes of pear and green apple with just a touch of citrus. But the acidity level, they do both stainless and in French oak, so you get the acidity which you need to cut through all that fatty, from the cheese and the heavy milk and pasta and everything. So this will just go perfect with this. This is a beautiful, beautiful Chardonnay. Now take a look at that. We are done already. That is already out. That's how fast that happens. We are done with our mushrooms. Let's put them aside in our bowl here. And let's get working on our roux and our bechamel sauce. Right now, how we're adding the truffle flavor is I have truffle butter right down in here in this pan. And I just have it on a low heat right now to start to melt the truffle butter. And this is what we're going to use to start our roux. There's a lot of different ways you can add truffle flavor. As you could see, look at all the wonderful truffle chunks from this truffle butter in here. So this is melting perfectly. So you could use a truffle oil. And I find this to be the perfect amount of truffle flavor for myself, that is, because it can get extremely strong if you're familiar with it. Okay, and the important thing while we're doing this roux, when we start to add the flour, is that you want to be constantly whisking, or the flour will burn and all that. And over here on the side, I have some hot milk, and I'll tell you a little bit more about why I'm using the hot milk as opposed to cold milk. A lot of people use different, certain chefs will swear by hot milk, certain chefs will swear by you have to do it with a cold milk. So why I use the hot milk, to be honest with you, is because it sets up not the roux, but the bechamel sauce when we start adding it, sets up much, much faster than if you add it with cold milk. It just takes that much longer for everything to heat up. And also, while this is going on, I also have over here some hot water going on for my pasta. And that's important because you want your pasta to be done at the same time as your cheese sauce, so you can bring them all together while the pasta's still hot and done. So I'm just gonna let this go. We're gonna cook this out for about 2 minutes, and then we're gonna come back and we're gonna add the hot milk. It's been about 2 minutes and our flour taste is cooked out. Now I'm gonna slowly add in our scalded milk. Just slowly add it in. Reason for slow is for the no lumps. You don't want to get lumps while you're doing this. And see how quickly this is setting up and getting much, much thicker, much faster than if it was with cold milk. There we go. We got the rest of our milk in there. Let's shut that burner off. And we just want to add in some salt and pepper to this. And remember, the cheese has a lot of salt in it, but our pasta also has, you really need a good amount of salt to flavor up all that pound of pasta. Now we're just going to let that go for about another minute to thicken up a little bit more. Anytime I do a bechamel sauce, I always love to grate in some fresh nutmeg. Anytime it's a white sauce like that, just this nutmeg gives a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful flavor to it. Now let's add in our cheese. Oh my gosh, I went grade crazy here, didn't I? Look at all this cheese. This is gonna be one cheesy mac and cheese. And our pasta's over there going right now. I'm almost ready, gonna pull that out. And we wanna shut off the burner. We do not want this bechamel sauce to burn or all this cheese. All the cheese, I have all the measurements and everything down below. I have a Gouda, a Swiss cheese. It's just amazing. You're gonna love it. And I have 3 in there. I have a sharp cheddar too. All white cheeses, as you could see, because I want to keep my bechamel as pure as it can possibly be. So look at that. Now, you can't say that there's not enough cheese in there, right? It'd be pretty impossible to add any more cheese to this. So we'll just let this melt. We're going to grab our pasta right here out of the water, and let's get set up. Let's grab the pasta out of the pasta water here. Drain that. A little bit of water into the bowl is good. It doesn't have to be completely drained. And never rinse your pasta, please. That is a tip from me. You don't want to rinse off your pasta because you're rinsing off all the starch and you're rinsing off all the salt that you put in the water. So a big old no-no. So I'm just putting the mushroom mixture through the pasta. And here at this time, if you want to add any extra truffle oil or anything, if you want more truffle, this is the time to do this. So let's take a look at this. Take a look at that. Wow. Can you look at that? That is decadent, rich, and not diet food. That it definitely is not. Wow. Let's get all of that out. Let's get a scraping. Come on. I don't want any cheese left behind, or any truffle that is left behind. Let's get all that in there. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh. Now, that is what I call a bowl full of goodness, right? Now, you can put this in, I normally put it in like a 9 by 13 or 10 by 13 flat baking pan, and put panko and garlic and on top. I'm going to put it in a smaller pan today because I'm going to do this in 2 different batches, but that's normally how I would do it. So I'm going to get the panko ready. Look at this. Look at this. Do you think there's enough cheese in there? That is going to be one amazing mac and cheese. Now we're just going to do an easy panko topping. Here in the pan I have some olive oil and some garlic. I started the garlic in the olive oil while it was cold. Now I brought it up to a simmer because I wanted to infuse all the flavors of the garlic into the panko. So I want to give a little bit of flavor to the panko instead of just plain old boring panko, right? So with the panko, we'll just do a little bit of cracked black pepper and some salt on it, and we'll just brown it up in the pan here just for about 2 minutes to give it a slight color. It's going to get more of a color in the oven, but a lot of times it doesn't get brown enough when you just put it in the oven itself. So when you start it in the pan with some olive oil and some garlic, and you can give it some extra flavor, it tastes much better and turns out much crunchier on top. So let me finish this and we'll top it and then throw it in the oven. Now let's get our panko over here on our lovely, lovely mac and cheese. Look at this. We browned up the panko just ever so slightly to give it a little extra color before we throw it in the oven. Look at that. I am so ready. I can't wait. This is going in the oven for 375 degrees for about 30 minutes to 35 minutes until it gets all bubbling and beautiful, and the panko is all browned on top. So in the oven, I can't wait to dig into this. I am ready to blow my diet today. Before I dig in, I first would like to thank all my subscribers. And if you're not yet a subscriber, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my recipes. And don't forget to like and share my recipes. And don't forget to ring that bell, because I do have a new show every Tuesday, so I don't want you to miss out on them. But I just can't wait any longer. This truffle mac and cheese, so delicious. OMG. This is lunch and dinner, I'm telling you. Oh. Wow. When I mean I'm in heaven, I'm in heaven. Thank you so much for stopping by Wine and Dine with Jeff. And we'll see you next week.